I think a lot of people overcomplicate ETF investing, and I think there's only three real main answers here. Are you a growth investor? Do you want something really simple? Or do you want income? But we're going to talk about the most simplistic way of doing this without the overlap and the three obvious buckets. Without the aid of having to hopefully stock pick and second guess all the time. Just simple global investing. Remember that, global. Because what I see all the time, and it really does annoy me, is it's just overcomplication. And I get messages all the time, I get DMs, I get emails, and people have about 7 or 8 different funds. They have massive overlap. Might feel quite good, productive. I've got more, I've got loads of stocks, it's going to work for me. But that's not always the case. You don't want to have 3 or 4 ETFs that they're all owning, say the top 10 of America. That is not the right way to do it. It might be great if it's really, really bullish, but if they have a wobble, you're going to feel it. Over the last 10 years, I've been refining what I do in terms of my portfolio. I think now I need to kind of branch out a little bit and showcase what you guys should be looking at now, especially how the geopolitical climate is. Emerging markets might become very powerful. Anyways, if you like this sort of stuff, slap a like on the video, comment your favorite ETFs, please, and anything that I've missed, let me know. Oh, and subscribe to the channel. There's like 90% of people who watch my videos don't actually subscribe. What? Now, the framework I'm going to give you is going to be quite simple. I'm not going to let you copy it. I'm going to give you so many options, your brain's going to hurt. You need 3 types of funds. You need developed markets, or you need emerging markets, or small caps, or dividend funds, or European developed markets, or Japan markets, or you get the point, right? There's no right or wrong answer here. The thing is, what does happen and what does go wrong, people have too many. So as I say, developed markets first. Let's talk about the obvious in the room. You can go very easily, and I've said this before on the channel, the All World Fund, bosh, 3,600 stocks, done. Tick in the box, 80% of your portfolio could be that. Easy. I could also go and say, well, what about the emerging markets? Well, I could just crack on, eh? Go to the emerging markets, go to say this one, or this one, or this one, and it will do some of the lifting for you. Get it? Cool. But then again, I could also go, well, we'll go to the dividend side of it and just go for the dividend payers, or European markets, whether it's UK, or the dividend leaders in Europe, whatever. Everyone's got an opinion, and I get it, right? And then you can go small caps if you want to, smaller assets which are not in the big funds. The whole point of this exercise is to tell you that most people have far too many. You're never going to get this perfect, even on my tool, right? So go onto my website, go to the ETF screener. It's free to use, by the way. Go to the overlap checker. Before you do fucking anything, put your funds in there. They may not be fully supported because I've only got so many funds, but you get the point. Even if you Google it, check the overlap of all your funds, because even though you may have 3 or 4 or even 2, there might be massive overlap, and it makes it pointless. Because when we're in a situation now of a bullish period in the market, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the All World Fund, the Magnificent 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever it is nowadays, they do bloat your portfolios massively. And even though you may have free funds, you still got thousands of companies within those across the entire world. But there might well be a 20% mix of that where it's like, well, I've got the same things, what's the point? You can mitigate that as much as you possibly can. The reason why this works and why it's so important is because you want to have as little overlap as possible. You want to have as low fees as possible. You want to be fully diversified, and it's easy to manage. The diversification is huge because you got however many continents on the planet, and you may be only touching 2 of them. And one of them, you probably, that ball's deep and you can't get out of it. So you got to look at that situation. Each fund has to have a job in certain points. Because even on the likes of Lightyear, there's a link below to this, by the way, capital is at risk. Obviously, this is an investment platform, as you can imagine. There's a lot more research you can look at with Lightyear. And that's the thing. You can fall down the rabbit hole. And I understand why people ask for advice, what funds are good. And I get it. Look at the fund size first. That's hugely important. If you want to look for certain types of funds, by the way, in terms of what essentially what currency they're in, it makes more sense to filter out a bit more. For example, look at the British funds basically on here, which makes sense. Only buy in pounds, essentially, if you're so interested. But as you can see, all the British ones, they're all here. You can see everything that you need to see. If you want to get ones with a bit of dividend yield, you can. Easier said than done, but ultimately they're all here for you, and you can do a lot of your stock research based off this. And that's the thing. There's so much out here, and I understand the thing here where people get confused and bamboozled. But before you do absolutely anything as well, go to Snowball Analytics, right? Go to it. I recommend it enough on my platform. You know this. Do a dummy run. Just check out your portfolio before you start jumping in, because it makes no sense otherwise. So what you need to do, you need to find out what your portfolio looks like. So I've added 3 on here, random 3. So this is emerging markets, this is the developed markets, and obviously small caps. Low yield, cool, that's fine. But you can kind of see what kind of situations we've got with all of these funds based off the analytics and the diversification. You can see that whatever it's looking at, the countries, probably quite a lot of it's in a mess. With others, probably America at this rate, but it's just a bit of a mess, that one. There you go. North America, developed. So it's a heavy America. So even though we've got developed markets and small caps, it's still heavily America, which proves the point that you need to do a lot more research and information finding to find your ETFs. But as I say, there's no right or wrong answer here. You can look at all of these and you'll still get an overlap. You'll still get a situation where they may not be performing as well. That's just the way it is. And you've got to make a decision. It's down to you. What type of investor are you? The biggest mistake I see is just lack of diversification. It's duplication. That's a problem. They have a global ETF, as I say, in the S&P 500 with, or they have too many ETFs in total, or they have the Nasdaq and the S&P, which is basically doing the same job anyways. So just be mindful. You don't have to be balls deep in one or the other. You get the idea. You can go with one if you want and have one do its thing, and you're never going to have an overlap because you may have stocks as well which are not in those funds. It's entirely up to you. That's the whole point. But as I say, the biggest issue I see is people not doing enough research. Because when I look at my portfolio, right, now this is doing all right, to be fair, considering that how the market is. I'm a dividend investor. My funds are, as you know, dividend related. They are the All World Fund for Dividend Payers. They are the LDGG, which is now performing pretty well considering how ropey it was at the start. And I also have the UK Dividend Payers. So there's 3 different sides of it. So as you can see on my portfolio, it's looking pretty good, but its yield on cost is quite low. I've not had this portfolio that long. And over the course of years, that yield on cost will grow as those dividends get reinvested in a solid portfolio that is doing its job. The 3 ETFs here is 75% of my portfolio, split up equally between the 3. And my own portfolio alone has outperformed the S&P 500 by 8.4% over the last 6 months, which is actually pretty good considering how, as I say, the market's been realistically. So it's all about having something that works. You don't have to beat market, you just have to be in the right ones. But anyways, I highly recommend that you check out Snowball Analytics. It's a free trial. Just simulate your portfolio before you jump into it. See what the crack is. And then check out my ETF screen for overlaps as well. It will make life a bit easier because I think people don't do that, and that becomes a bit of a problem. I've had funds before in the past that I really liked, like this one, for example, as you all know, TDGB. Brilliant fund, but the withholding tax was an issue. Investing isn't about finding the perfect ETF realistically. It's about sticking to the plan for long enough and understanding that consistency, with it being in an ISA, for example, as well, and the long-term mindset, it makes sense. With this fund, as much as I loved it, I was losing 15% of the dividend, which kind of made it kind of, well, I'm losing a lot of that income, which makes it a lot harder to kind of manage. Plus, it only had 100 stocks. I had 50 in one and then 100 in another, and then 1,600 in another. So I didn't have that many stocks. Whereas now that I've adapted it a little bit, I've got one with over 1,000 now, which it adds a lot more of that diversification. It just makes my portfolio better. But the thing that I see all the time, and I know I go on like a broken record, but I just see people just talking about like trading 212, for example, and you go to like the ETFs down here, most popular, they're all the same. It's like everyone buys the same thing. And the one thing that I did on my ETF screener as well, you may have noticed if you're on it, similar ETFs, why are they all the same things? And like all the tracking the exact same stuff. For example, obviously the FTSE 100s and, you know, even, well, there's another FTSE 100 there. There you go. S&P 500, all the different S&P 500s. People go down the rabbit hole. I genuinely get emails from people, and I know this is absolutely crazy, but They'll be on trading 2-on-2 and they'll buy probably the same fund twice. They'll have the accumulation, the distribution. That is just, these platforms are designed to bamboozle you. So you need to do a lot of research. Having less ETFs is absolutely a must, and it will make life so much easier in the long run. But there's so much you can do. I want to give you guys options, but the main option that you need to think about is your own plan. Have no more than 3 because you're going to get blown up at some point. And if you've not yet done so, please do check out my website. That's where all the ETF screeners are and all the other gubbins that you may need to help you with your research. But also, before you go, watch this video. This will majorly help you with other side of the ETF argument.